we're live.
Happy Halloween, you filthy animals.
Fantastic.
I got that from Home Alone. Remember that part? He's like, you
Yeah.
filthy animals.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Leroy. You're
What's
the
up?
best.
We're here.
Oh, man.
Barely.
The behind the scenes foolishness.
Tornado! Oh my gosh!
It's yeah. So for we are the News 19 Nerds. I forgot that's how we start these, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we are the News 19 Nerds. I'm Michael.
I'm Leroy.
We got another press play for y'all. Just a little behind the scenes stuff. We had a lot going on in Columbia, South Carolina today in terms of weather.
Just in case you don't know, it's raining here. So it's Halloween. So that really affected people who want to take their kids trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Then severe weather warning came up, and we spent our entire 6 o'clock show trying to get people inside because a tornado touched down
Somewhere.
somewhere where people
Yeah.
were taking their kids to trick or treat,
Yeah.
which really sucks.
Yeah.
And we're laughing to keep from crying.
Yeah. But we're not talking about. Well, I guess we kind of got a couple of hard news stories, depending on how you look at it.
Depends on who you are.
Yeah, we got some lighter stuff today.
Yeah.
We're going to hit on Call of Duty and the controversy surrounding that.
Yep.
We're going to hit on the success of Sony. Mm-hmm. We may get to something else. It depends on time, because this is probably going to be shorter than what we normally do, just because we got other stuff to do today.
So Brandon Gonzalez, Ray Sean, Miami versus Atlanta. That's a trash game. I mean, Miami is undefeated. I mean, sorry.
I was like, no, they're not.
They haven't won a game.
Yeah, it's like slightly opposite.
Sorry, I'm getting 0-16 and 16-0 confused right now.
Mm-hmm.
Miami and Atlanta, two terrible teams. Mm-hmm. Atlanta has been god awful ever since they lost to the Patriots 28-3, man.
That just hurt them. Ever since that Super Bowl loss, we're like, yeah, we can't do this.
Trust me, I know that feeling. I'm a Panthers fan.
Yeah.
What's up, David Cooper? IMAX, what's up? So let's get into it. Call of Duty came out last week.
Yeah. Came out on Friday.
Thursday night if you got it at Redbox.
Yeah, this dude over here. Unfortunately, you didn't get to play it that day because there was like a huge patch that you had to get.
Man.
Or you had to download. You downloaded it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my bad,
IMAX.
Basketball. I reiterate, Miami's trash.
We had the game came out. They haven't released sales numbers yet.
Yeah, they have.
They have?
$600 million in 3 days.
Oh, see, I'm behind.
It is the best-selling Call of Duty game for this generation's console.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
So they ain't hurt for money, but the controversy is, you tell me the controversy because you know the story better than me.
So, okay, for those of you guys who have played, because you played all the Modern Warfare games, right?
No, I told you I never played 3.
You played the first 2, right?
Yeah, I played 1 and
So
2.
you know the Russians are a big part of it.
Yeah.
It starts in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. So this Modern Warfare, for those guys who have played it, or who haven't played it, we know this is a retelling, a reboot of the Modern Warfare franchise. You see Price, Captain Price, and you get some other characters that you are introduced to that help shape the game as it goes forward. They created a fake country to avoid any kind of controversy dealing with the Middle East, which I can understand that. However, they created a whole new controversy with some of the things that they've done by taking historical things that actually happened and painting the U.S. in a more giving the U.S. a pro-military feel to a certain extent. I understand where people are coming from on both sides. So basically what happens is, just like in the previous Call of Duty games, there is a rogue Russian element.
Are we doing spoilers?
I'm not. This is you know this.
Okay, I'm
not going to spoil it.
Okay, so we're not no major spoilers for the game since it just came out. But
so
go ahead.
There's a rogue Russian faction working with terrorist cells and dealing with chemical weapons. Your job is to find these chemical weapons. One of the parts in the game, it deals with a mission called the Highway of Death, which blames Russia for causing the Highway of Death. That's not true. The Highway of Death was actually caused during the Gulf War from retreating Iraqi forces leaving Kuwait. Supposedly, that is a war crime. Okay. It's argued that that is a war crime because it was not all military that was attacked. So basically what happens is there's a stretch of road that the U.S. literally tore up. And it was like shooting fish in a barrel. Mm-hmm. Reports are they were civilians fleeing the battlefield. So people around the world have called out Call of Duty by saying, this is BS. What is going on? You're changing actual historical facts.
Right.
Now, Call of Duty has always played fast and loose with facts and changing little things. If you remember the first Call of Duty, you were in a fake country.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yes.
Right.
You had a nuclear warhead go off.
Mm-hmm.
You were playing as a Marine. You went back and forth. You also, if you remember that controversial scene in the airport where you were
Modern Warfare 2.
It's Modern Warfare 2.
No Russian.
No, remember when you were...
No, that was the name of the episode.
You're right.
Sorry,
it's called No Russian.
The name of the level was
where
called No Russian.
Where you actually literally cause a terrorist action
right.
at an airport, which blames the U.S., which causes Russia to invade.
Right.
So, and the thing is, this is a different time than when the first Call of Duty came out. Twitter wasn't as popular or as powerful as it was, where everybody's voice could be heard. Mm-hmm. Some people accused Russian bots of saying this, that it was pro-Russia, all this other stuff. It wasn't all just pro-Russia people saying this. It was people just saying, hey...
Get your facts right. If you're going to put this in the game...
And you have updated this game
right.
to be more realistic.
You are more well-versed than me in terms of reading. What is the type of thing is it historical fiction? Is that
yeah.
a genre?
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing to historical fiction where you take historical events and you dramatize them, you change them up a little bit. Mm-hmm. That people are dicey one way or the other. Mm-hmm. That's one thing, but it can be a whole nother thing to completely change the narrative and the dynamic of what actually happened by putting these crimes, whether they are real or fake, or not real or fake, but like
if they're charged or not.
Yeah, whether they're charged or not, and giving them to somebody else.
Yes.
So you knew about this story. I didn't know much. The question
I knew about the Highway of Death because in retrospect, because of what happened when we went back into Iraq, it is a very dangerous patch of land because there's no cover from one end to the other end. Where basically, if you're a sniper, pew, you can pick anybody off.
IMAX says, yeah, we covered this in 10th grade history class. Teacher was a retired USAF, United States Air Force colonel.
And see,
he wasn't proud.
What IMAX is saying, so when the first Gulf War happened, Norman Schwarzkopf instituted what's called shock and awe, where he basically used air power to support the ground forces. The war was over within 100 hours.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't even know about the Highway of Death, which was attributed to us until Jake Gyllenhaal's movie, Jarhead. My dad, who served, who was in the Gulf War, was like, that was one of the most powerful war movies for him because he was actually in the war. Mm-hmm. And he remembers this. Brandon Gonzalez says, growing up at a military brat, going to school on a military bases, and they didn't teach any of that. Interesting. If you go look it up, the U.S. is accused of war crimes because people are attributing the fact that there was not just military vehicles and convoys, and they had no air cover. So military people who fired on these vehicles do not feel comfortable because they were like, they had no air cover. We literally were just wiping the map with these people. Yeah. And so it's one of those things where there's a side that says we were at war, we did what we had to do. There's another side that says that is a war crime.
Right. There are rules in place so that people aren't too crazy. There are articles.
So to take that, either whatever side you're on, it happened.
Right.
So then to take what actually happened and to put it in a game where you're trying to update it to make it more realistic, to then take it and then blame Russia for it and say, this is terrible, this is a tragedy, this happened, this is why we hate Russia, when the U.S. actually committed this.
Right.
I can see where people are like, oh, I don't feel good about this.
So normally, whenever we do these press plays, and the whole point of our channel, we've talked about it in the beginning, is we were tired of covering harder stories. We wanted to cover lighter stories, easier stories.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the reason why we chose it is because it's a big story and it relates directly to video games.
Yeah,
Our channel's not political.
No,
Sometimes
we're
we
not.
get about political stuff,
Yeah.
but in this instance, we're not pro or for. That's not what we're talking about so much. We're just opening the conversation.
And so
about
there's a part in the game which I don't want to. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you play as two children in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And in the game, you have to get away from an occupying Russian force. And one of the creators of I say showrunners, or what are they called? The directors, the guys who are in charge
creative
of the
director. I mean, I don't know.
creative directors
Yeah.
came out and said, "Hey, we wanted to make this Russian soldier who was occupying this force a kind of ghoulish creature to the kids, because you're playing it from the kids' point of view. So they obviously went out of their way to make this person look dangerous." Bye, Lauren.
Bye.
Oh, are you done?
Oh yeah, Lisa told me to tell you she's leaving.
I mean, she was in FT. You done for
Yeah.
the day? Well, how long your package?
It is 152.
Ooh, that's gonna be good for her.
Get out.
That wasn't necessary.
Take a look. Are you the one that emptied the Starburst and only took the
Nah, I just
Okay.
noticed that there were Starbursts upstairs like 10 minutes ago.
leaving the Reds? Are y'all live?
What, the
Yeah,
Reds?
live. You
There
want
are
to
Reds upstairs?
Yeah, there's only Reds upstairs.
Man, let me go back upstairs.
We work in a place where people will take Starburst little dual packs and will take them out, open them up and see what colors are in there and leave the ones that they don't want
I give the ones I don't
on
want
the
to
table.
Anna
That's
Grace.
what we're doing
Wait,
today on
open?
Halloween. Opening the packs,
Oh.
leaving
I didn't do
only the
that.
colors that they don't want, and think that we want to just grab on those.
Hey, can I have that
So,
yellow back too? Because I eat that one.
Man, I should start this yellow.
Hey, why you gonna do that? I wanted it. So that's Lauren.
Bye, Lauren.
Bye, Lauren.
Bye.
So yeah, one of the things that I had a problem with,
Mm-hmm.
I can get that. I can get where you wanted to make this figure more imposing to the kids because they're an occupying force to them. The problem is, you had that scene, Highway of Death, and then you go and make the Russian more ghoulish, and you admit you did it on purpose. That's where I'm like, ugh.
So,
Especially when you went out of your way to make a fake country, not to offend the Middle East.
two things. Well, I'll read this comment. Brandon Gonzalez, if they're going to create fake countries, why not replace Russian with a name like groups or something, literally anything? Why change some things but keep some the same? Should be one of the other.
And see, Brandon brings up a good point. Why? And that's why I said with the whole Highway of Death scene, where I get where people are upset. You created an entire fake country, but took basically the country is Afghanistan, and what's going on is the Russian occupation of Afghanistan, and they just changed the names,
Right.
but kept Russia in it,
Right.
and kept all the things that Russia did, and then made the U.S. look good. So I can understand that controversy where people are like, "Man, this is effed up. Why didn't you just change everything?" And it's like they wanted to keep, and they wanted.
Right.
And that's where I have the problem. And I can understand that.
So what do you?
I did
what
have
do
fun
you-
playing it though.
Okay. What do you think of? What responsibility falls on a game company or a creator when they're out creating their art?
I don't know, and that's where I don't understand it. I want to hear from you guys, and girls out there, the channel.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I love historical aspects in games. That's why I continue to play Assassin's Creed, even though I hate the Animus. Like, as soon as the Animus comes on, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
I hate it. But I love the actual work that goes into creating. My favorite Assassin's Creed is Revelations, because they go into the Byzantine Empire and how that came.
Revelations.
The one where Altair comes back.
Oh,
Yeah.
old school.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that's for me, and so I love that historical aspects. Like, I've learned so much from playing video games and watching movies because you put real things in them. The Watchmen. Look at what The Watchmen has done for history buffs and historians.
These first two episodes got everybody looking like, oh, this actually happened. Like, a lot of people thought, there's no way this could happen. Nope,
Yeah.
it happened.
The Battle of Midway. When we watched the trailer and the channel, and I wish I knew all the guys because it just came to me, but they were like, "Oh, that's this person. That's this person. Ed Screen's playing him," and I'm like, I'm hoping.
Check out our reaction to the Midway trailer.
I'm hoping the Battle of Midway movie causes people to go back and look at the South Pacific campaign, because that's one of the campaigns that kind of gets forgotten. We always talk about the Western Front or the Eastern. Which one is it? The Battle of Normandy. We always hear about that.
Yeah.
But men and women died out there in the Pacific, and those stories should be told as well. And
Right.
hopefully that sparks that history, going back and digging this stuff up and learning about it.
Brandon says, kind of to paraphrase his latest comment, he's like, they should make more games based off declassified stuff, which would be interesting because that kind of gives
Operation Paperclip, good call.
that kind of gives you the leeway of, well, if this stuff is out there in the world, anybody can go and research and do whatever. So everybody's kind of working off that same knowledge to kind of be like, well, they didn't cheat this way or they didn't do that, because everybody's working off the same thing. That would be interesting to see that kind of stuff. Did you ever play Spec Ops: The Line?
Yep.
Those, I thought
Effed up game.
Yeah, but I think the story was told very well.
It was, and I didn't like it.
Yeah,
because I did.
It sat with you.
It did, and
Yeah.
it really. When you finished it, you were like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
I could have done things differently." And
Like
you,
the gameplay was okay, but I thought the story was,
it-
especially for the time, it was something
it really
different.
messed with you. And
Yeah.
so I don't know where this comes in, but I do know if you spent that much money trying to recreate certain things and then leaving other things out, you realize that you effed up. And that's why I said going forward, do historical, but then branch out from that what actually happened. Now there's a part in the game that you saw in the trailers. There was a terrorist attack in London. That actually happened. So you could actually break off from that and then bring your own fictional, oh, this is the backstory behind that. Use real events like we see all the time in World War II games. The problem comes in is when you want your cake and eat it too. And I think what they wanted to do was they wanted to try to skirt and try to say, okay, we're going to try to appease these people, but we don't give a F about these people over here. And this is the thing. I can understand from the other standpoint, because some people were like, well, in the first couple of Call of Duty games, Russia was not necessarily the bad guy. There were bad Russians in that too. Keep in mind, this is a rogue Russian element that some people are saying makes Russia look bad. But when you tie together with the Highway of Death, the way this character was animated, and these rogue Russian agents, I can see in totality why people are upset.
So how does a game company, any game company, but maybe even specifically Activision, how do they move forward? for like the next Call
Hire
of
a
Duty?
historian.
Okay.
Hire historians, hire professors and people who have looked at this, all art is political. So even in making Modern Warfare, it is political. It has a very pro-West stance. But I will say this, they did an excellent job of putting you in places that makes you say, war is a gray area. And anyone who participates in war, in warfare, it is not an easy thing. And it gives you that sense of, because there's many times when you're like, I don't feel good about the choice I just made. Or as you're trying to fight someone, there are civilians in the way.
Right.
That's what these men and women do when they go into battle.
Right.
So I will say this Modern Warfare did an excellent job of putting you in places that said, if you had a weapon and you were trying to find somebody, this is what you will go up against. This is what you will face. And it did stick with me. There were parts in the game where I did not feel comfortable, and I was like, even though I knew they're pixelated characters, it was a beautiful game. Activision, hats off. It was Infinity Ward and Activision.
Yeah, pretty sure it was a
Hats off to you. You made an excellent game. However, I can understand where people are coming from, and you have some explaining to do. Because you didn't make a game just for the U.S. You didn't make a game just for the U.S. military. You made a game for everybody. And if you're going to make a game for everybody, you got to stand by what you made.
It's interesting because we know we get Call of Duties every year, but the next Call of Duty is coming out isn't going to be made by the studio that did this one, because they got 3 or 4 studios working on Call of Duty.
And they have different franchises: Black
Right.
Ops, Modern Warfare now, Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
So
whatever the new Call of Duty, I wonder if it's going to be if sales are going to be affected by this.
I would say no, because this one, even with the controversy, made $600 million in 3 days. We
True.
hadn't even hit Black Friday and Christmas yet.
True. But it is not. There has been a decline in Call of Duty sales.
But that was because, in my opinion, they're up against everybody who copied their model, and you're up against Overwatch, you're up against Fortnite, which is free. You're up against so many other games. So Call of Duty was going to take a hit regardless because there are other players involved. Borderlands 3 came out. You've also got people are still playing Grand Theft Auto. People are still playing GTA 5.
D. Steezy says OG video game player, but not a Call of Duty fan.
Mostly
because of Activision.
I can understand that.
I personally don't see any differences this with Wolfenstein series when they play fast and loose with historical things.
And see, and that's the difference with the Wolfenstein, which Stiesel, the difference between these games, which a lot of people have, is everybody agrees Nazis are bad. That's one of the things where
usually Nazis are always going to be bad.
Yeah.
So if you put them as your
enemy,
it
doesn't matter what you do to them. You can cut them up, chainsaw.
People are probably going to be fine with it.
And so the problem with this is there are gray areas in the game, and to me, they didn't do a good job of highlighting the gray areas so that everybody looks good and everybody looks bad. One group of people looks extremely bad, while one group of people looks extremely good.
Yeah.
And that's where D. Stiesel, but I see your point. And see, that's where I think Activision should have done better. If you were going to dirty up the Russians like that, you should have dirtied up the U.S. like that. And that's my only issue. But I will say, you do get a sense of when that, and again, I don't want to second guess people who are on the ground doing these things, but I've talked to various people who are in the military who have faced these different things, and they'll tell you, in the heat of the moment, sometimes you make mistakes. In the heat of the moment, sometimes you wish you could take a thing back. There's a difference between a mistake and an active, and what some would call a war crime. And to paint that country with everything involved, I think they should have done a better job. Okay. That's my only thing. But I will.
But you played the game and liked it.
I played the game. I did play the game and liked it. However, the update, you should have put more of that on the disc, because that was a pain, and a lot of people, especially PC gamers, complained about the fact of that download. It's 150 gigs minimum for PS4.
Just to download.
Just to download.
Okay.
And you cannot play the campaign without having all of the networking features that comes with downloading. When I first got it and plugged it in, that was 56 gigs I had to download that night.
Yeah.
On top of a couple of other updates. And it was just like kept. And so that is my only beef with the game outside of the controversy. The game played well. I enjoyed it. If you can get you a 4K TV. It looks freaking amazing. Like, there are parts where you're like, the facial features don't look that great in the actual gameplay. But man, when that thing gets going, it looks amazing. What up, Dreadlock? So yeah, it really is a great game. It's one. I'll put it up there. It is probably going to win some awards.
Okay, let's keep it moving. Let's be a little lighter topic.
Okay,
kind of lighter overall. Let's talk about the success of Sony and its
Sony straight killing the game. Sony's just mowing down the competition. Like that Home Alone, you filthy animals.
Did you watch that recently?
It was on a loop. Sometime.
Okay, I was like, where did this come from? It's not Christmas. Where is this coming from? Okay, just wanted to cool. Couple things. PlayStation View was going away.
Oh, nobody cares.
Nobody really cared. They tried to push it as the alternative to cable.
Yep.
It was kind of like almost like a sling box, right? Where
yeah,
you could kind of pick the services that you wanted.
But they didn't have a lot of things on it.
Right.
Because they did not have a deal with Viacom, so they didn't have like certain
probably a lot of CBS stuff. I would assume.
A lot of like VH1, MTV.
MTV, okay,
some of that stuff, and they only recently got a deal with ABC to get on some of those things. Yeah, and it was expensive.
Yeah, so low content, high price equals low subscriber count. Nobody cares.
Brandon Gonzalez, stay tuned. We will have our Witcher review up later of the trailer.
Yeah. We haven't seen it yet. So
We haven't.
y'all feel free to talk about it in here.
Yeah, we haven't seen it. We saw the teaser. We haven't seen the trailer. You
Yeah.
know, hurricane.
Yeah, so we will
Not
get
hurricane,
to
sorry, tornado.
tornado. We will get to it and
Yeah, we
have
will.
a reaction up soon.
Because Henry Cavill is going to kill it, y'all. The Cavillites. That's what we call ourselves. I just made that up. Spread the word.
It's gonna be over here. Henry Cavill's gonna do something.
Cavillites and the Bayonites.
I'm not on board Henry Cavill.
That's because you're a hater
I
of talent.
Henry Cavill. What I told you his best movie was Count of Monte Cristo. When he was that little boy.
Guys, at Michael and explain to him Henry Cavill is going to be one of our greatest actors of all time.
You mean like Sam Worthington?
Stop it.
What's Clint Eastwood's son? Scott Eastwood?
The funniest thing is I told
Jai
somebody.
Courtney?
I told. Wait, hey.
All these people.
First of all, Scott Eastwood, I'll give you. Because I told somebody Scott Eastwood was in Suicide Squad, and they called me a lot like a dirty liar.
I'm about to say that right now. Was he?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He was the second in command to
Okay.
Joel Kinnaman.
Okay.
And just like you were like, no, he wasn't. Scott Eastwood is in that movie.
Great.
Scott Eastwood is in Fast and Furious.
I do know that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a point as Paul Walker.
Yeah.
Paul Walker wasn't a great actor.
He wouldn't.
He wasn't. Y'all should see Running Scared with Paul Walker. That was
Best movie.
That was a
Bear
good movie.
Verminga?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Good call.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back to Sony. So we got off topic.
Yeah.
See how easy it is to distract us? I was trying to look at it from Germany still being dominant force decades after World War II. Yeah, so these Diesel, we definitely get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But Sony, killing game.
Yeah. So aside from the PlayStation View, which they're going to be fine, they're going to cancel sometime after
Question.
January.
Hopefully for those of us who have the PlayStation, with View going away in January, hopefully that will open up because Sling never was on PlayStation. Hulu was never on PlayStation because they.
Hulu is on PlayStation.
No, Hulu is not on PlayStation.
Yeah, it is.
Hulu is not on PlayStation.
I have a Hulu app on my PlayStation right now.
They might have just put that back on there because there was a beef between.
Okay,
Hulu.
I was like, wait a minute.
Reason why is because Hulu, Slingbox, and somebody else I'm trying to remember were not specifically because PlayStation was blocking them from being on there.
Gotcha.
There's another one. You might have gotten it when and there's another thing too. Will that open up Sony to piggyback or partner with somebody else since they're no longer going to have their View?
Yeah, maybe.
But continue.
So in addition to that, we know the good news for them was they have sold 102.8 million or close to that PS4s.
Second best console of all time.
Second best home console. Because the DS is still ahead of it. Don't forget about my little friend the DS. The home console.
Don't nobody care about your DS.
150 million people did.
Those
Because we had this conversation where you were like, oh, it's going to beat the DS. And I'm like,
yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did say that. I'm like, I don't think it's going to catch the DS.
Hold on. So how many has it sold so far?
102.8.
102 point. Hold on. Which one?
The PS4 is 102.8.
102.
Let me do some.
And hold on. And how much does DS have?
Pretty sure it's 150.
150.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Because you were like, they're going to catch it. I was like,
Guys, we've got.
I don't think they're going to catch it.
Guys,
just
we got about 10 months to buy enough PlayStation 4s. I'm putting a call out so we can beat Nintendo's DS record. So Sony can own the number 1 and number 2 spot for consoles.
Because PlayStation 2 is the top.
Yep.
With 158 or
Yep.
something crazy like that. Mm-hmm. They got 155 there, so yeah.
So guys, let's all go out and buy 3 PlayStation 4s.
Oh,
tell your friends.
I forgot about the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. That's at 118.
Those don't count.
Those don't count.
Those don't count. We're talking straight home console, son.
Okay. Sure.
But no, I'm good for Sony. Good for Sony for sticking with it.
In addition to that, we know Sony is resting on its laurels. They've already trademarked PlayStation 6 through 10.
6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
That is wild. Two trains of thoughts. One, it's wild, but at the same time, you get it.
It wasn't Hulu, it was YouTube TV. Good call, guys.
Okay.
Brandon Gonzalez.
I was like, Hulu? I know I was watching Hulu once.
Well, the thing is, I was trying to remember because I put it in the story that they were blocking live TV apps.
Okay.
So that they could be to force you to buy View. And I was like, I'm not buying View if this is all you got. I was like, I'll just get the Fire Stick or whatever. But it just wasn't worth it. But
I think I may have seen 2 PlayStation View commercials recently.
never seen a View commercial.
And I thought that was weird because I had never seen a View commercial.
I'd never seen
Those commercials didn't work, clearly. But yeah, so they trademarked 6 through 10. One train of thought is it's weird, but at the same time,
It makes sense.
I understand it because you don't want somebody else to just, the way trademarks work, if you let it go, people can try and get the trademark.
Because I'm telling you right now, if I'd have known that, I would have trademarked PS5. I would have trademarked PS5 in 2006, and I would have sat on it. Because people do that with domain names.
Yeah, they try and get money.
Yep, because people, somebody got the, remember in the league when Taco bought Dallas Cowboys when it lapsed?
Yeah.
And he had Jerry Jones had to buy it from him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd have come up with a couple of mil.
So what do we think, this kind of topic is more just, what do we think the future is for Sony?
Oh, Sony is right now in a great place.
What could Microsoft do to take over?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
I don't know about that.
Let me explain where I'm coming from. Microsoft cannot take Sony on because Microsoft and Sony are 2 different businesses. Microsoft is in the console as far as your desktops, as laptops. Sony's not in that business. That's an ancillary thing. Microsoft is in the computing business, whereas Sony's in an entertainment business. Sony has movie theaters. Sony has studios.
Yeah.
Sony has the deal with Spider-Man and Marvel to make Marvel franchises. Sony has video games. Sony has video game consoles. They're not they understand we're an entertainment company.
Yeah.
Microsoft is not an entertainment company. They do entertainment as a side hustle. That's the difference, and that's why I say you can't beat Sony if you're not in that business.
See, I think Microsoft has a shot because
I think they do.
Game Pass is an incredible value that more and more people are getting.
I agree. I would get it if I had an Xbox.
Yeah, for $1. Well, it starts at $1 a month. It goes to like $14.99.
It's worth it.
You get 100, more than 100, probably 100 games that you can just play out the box.
And
I'm playing Devil May Cry 5 right now because it's part of Game Pass.
keep going because this is where I'm going to tell you where this is why I say what I say.
Okay, because every first party Microsoft game is going to be part of Game Pass day one. Sometimes it comes out even a little earlier. Like I got to play Gears 5 a few days
you told me
before it
about
came
that.
out, which was great. Now they have a lot of climbing to do, but I think.
Shut up, fool!
I can't wait to see them see that, but whatever. Whenever you go from one console to the next in terms of generations, I always feel like that's the time when you can do it. Because you kind of had that shift from PlayStation 2 and Xbox to Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. PlayStation 2 was way ahead, and they kind of won that battle. Then when we switched over to Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, I'm pretty sure PlayStation 3 may have sold more units, but the mind share was for Xbox 360.
And part of that was because of Xbox Live.
Right.
Which was better than whatever Sony had.
Right. And then PS4 to Xbox One, it shifted back, and PS4 is dominating. Because I think Xbox One may be like at 40 million units, and they stopped reporting and be like, oh, we can't keep up, so we're not going to report. Like, they're selling, but they ain't doing PlayStation numbers.
But this is the problem that Microsoft has always had.
Okay.
Whereas Sony has always been, we're a game company, and that's what we're going to do. Microsoft doesn't know what to do because even when they don't have Sony there, E3, what did Microsoft do? They dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And that's why I said Microsoft isn't in the gaming business like Sony is. Sony's like, we're not even going to E3. And like Sony is like Marvel to a certain extent, where they're like, we ain't got to go.
Yeah.
We just do our state of play.
Yeah.
And they can do that. And Microsoft has not done a good job of I don't want to say tricking, of luring people to make AAA titles for them. And their AAA titles do not compete with Sony.
True.
And that's why I said that's where Microsoft has a shot, a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
But Microsoft needs new leadership. Let me tell you why. Because I think the Xbox One X is a better console than the PS4 Pro.
It's definitely more powerful.
But what is the best-selling console right now?
PS4.
Why? Because Sony knows what they. In other words, Sony is almost kind of like where that Nintendo thing is. We don't have to have the best, powerful. We know the games that we have paired with the console and the apparatus that comes with it.
Yeah.
We know we'll beat you.
Yeah.
And that's where I said Microsoft needs to change, because how do you have the best, most powerful console and you don't have enough to show for it to beat this other console that is not as powerful?
One thing we don't know is how many PS4 Pros have sold compared to Xbox One X's. Mm-hmm. We don't know that.
I don't think you'll ever know.
I don't think that they probably won't break it down like that, but I would be curious just to see that specific console SKU compared to each other.
Yeah.
I do think Microsoft has a chance because they've recently acquired so many studios trying to beef up their first party catalog. They recently acquired Obsidian Studios, which just released.
That was smart.
Outer Worlds, which everybody's going wild about, and again another game on Game Pass.
Who just pointed that out?
Dreadlock.
Dreadlock posts and D is it Steezel? D Steezel talks about that Game Pass is basically the bee's knees. I can't say what I wanted to say.
You can just say dope.
I couldn't say dope.
Okay, great.
I'm not cool enough to say dope.
Okay.
D Steezel can say it, but I can't say dope.
Bee's knees.
I can't. I'm not that cool, man. I'm just
right.
not. You got to know where your coolness stops.
Cool.
And he has a name called D Steezel. He can say dope. He's cooler than I am.
Yeah.
I can admit that.
Yeah. IMAX says that Microsoft lost this generation with the launch. You're right. Now, at the time, they had Don Matrick. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He doesn't really know games. He kind of comes from like the sales side. He kind of had this idea that he's slick and he can do whatever. That didn't work. They got rid of him. He got moved to Zynga. Zynga kicked him out too.
What happened with that?
Yeah, Don, I don't know what Don Matrick is doing.
Sitting on his millions.
He's sitting on his millions. He's fine. But the current head.
Probably watching us.
Oh, yes. Friend of the show, Don Matrick. Come on and talk to us. The current head of Xbox. Who's the current head of Xbox right now?
Oh, no, he was up there. You know his name because you saw him.
because I can't think of his name now.
Because that's the guy I was telling you. Remember, he was like kind of stoic. And
Yeah.
he was like, but see, that's why I said, for me, Microsoft has the best chance. I just don't think Microsoft has it because there's so many different things that Microsoft does, and they do well. Their Surface tablet is
Phil Spencer. There we go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think their Surface tablet and their Surface phone that they got coming out. Whoo, hey man, I might buy a Microsoft phone. I think Microsoft does certain things better than Sony. I just think that they don't know how. It's almost like they don't know how to push forward to that next level, and that's the problem that I have with Microsoft because you have all of this, you have the infrastructure. Same thing with whatever this Xbox. Their answer to Google Stadia.
The cloud streaming?
Yeah.
So, thank you, Dreadlock, for, you'll see it in a second once
Yeah.
you say it, but we see that you typed it in. The Cloud Stadia, or the xCloud, I think is a cool idea. We need to see it in practice. You can sign up for the beta right now.
You can? How much is it?
I don't know. But you have Android, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you could, because you have to have an Android phone to do it.
Oh, I'm on. I'm on board.
But I don't know exactly what else you need. You like certain amount of download speed, upload speed, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you need some type of a Bluetooth controller to connect to your phone.
Okay.
But you can play a couple.
Because I've seen some people with it on their phone with the Xbox controller.
Yeah.
So that's why I said they have the infrastructure, they have the technology. It's a matter of the know-how to navigate to top Sony. And again, Sony did a good job of killing Xbox with their exclusives. Spider-Man, Last of Us, Uncharted,
God of War,
Metal Gear Solid for the longest.
Yeah.
So when you have those type games that aren't just great games, these are games that changed gaming. Last of Us, there are people still playing Last of Us. Just like, what the hell did I just play? Uncharted games, God of War won Game of the Year last year. Xbox needs that.
Yeah.
And they need to do a better job of shoring up their infrastructure to take a stab at Sony's heart. Because I think it's better when you have multiple companies challenging each other, forcing each other to do better. We get better games, we get better consoles.
Like Brian Barrett says, he thinks Xbox is moving ahead of PlayStation with Game Pass, which is that's better than what PlayStation Plus is and PlayStation Now for sure.
Oh yeah.
And the purchase of 7 studios, they're definitely trying to shore up their
and
bet.
stuff like that is what's going to. And again, Microsoft has to see and say, move in for the kill.
It's kind of like what you always talk about with the streaming. You say it's not a streaming war yet, it's a streaming Cold War. This is kind of the same thing of we need to see what these studios produce. Because it sounds great on paper. We actually need to see what are you making right now.
Because right now we know, so right now we know the PS4, gangbusters. Xbox One, I'll give it to you. You are a good console. I'm not knocking you, but you did not do a good job with your console, with the great console that you have. I'm still buying one. But what happens next is, to me, is the telling. Because Sony and Nintendo were neck and neck for the longest. And then, not Sony, Nintendo and Sega were neck and neck for the longest. And Nintendo was going to partner with Sony to take out Sega.
Yeah.
And we know what happened. Sega fell off. Sony said, we don't need you. Nintendo said, we don't need you.
No, Nintendo said more, they don't need them.
Either
and Sony
way.
said, F you, we'll make our own thing.
and look where Sony is now.
That was back under old Nintendo management when they were like, we can do whatever we want.
And they did.
Those people don't really, I think they might be dead, honestly.
But-
and new management's like, we'll take a softer approach. We can work with more people now. And you're kind of seeing that with Nintendo letting people like the Rabbids Mario game that came out.
Rabbids?
Yeah.
Is it Rabbits or Rabbids?
Rabbids. Rabbids.
See, I always think it's like Rabbits, like
Like
Bugs Bunny.
Elmer Fudd? Yeah, no, it's Rabbids.
Okay.
But they let Ubisoft make a Mario game. They also let I think it was also Ubisoft they let make a Star Fox game. So they're letting more people play with their franchises that aren't Nintendo Studios.
And that's
so
why I said
they're
and that's why I said with these new iterations, whatever Project Scarlet is and whatever the PS5 is, I think that is where you're going to see what happens next, because you've got to remember you have to incorporate some type of streaming capability in your console, whether it's streaming games or whether it's streaming in the streaming wars. You got to be able to have, and see, that's where I think they can set themselves apart, because Sony did themselves a disservice. Like Microsoft could have already overtaken Sony, because while PlayStation View was blocking everybody else, Xbox allowed you to watch YouTube TV.
Yeah.
They allowed you to do Hulu. They allowed you to do Sling. They allowed you to do all those things that Sony wouldn't let you do.
The thing with that is that also goes back to 2 points. One, somebody was dissing they weren't dissing the Kinect, but they were kind of hating on the Kinect.
I like the Kinect.
The Kinect is fantastic. Dance Central is awesome. I love Dance Central.
I like the Kinect, and I like the iCamera from PlayStation. And I think if you're going to have that, don't make it separate.
Yeah.
Build it into your console, because there is nothing like coming home, Xbox on. Amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Incorporate and see, that's why I said these new consoles, you've got Echoes, Amazon, Siri, incorporate some of that in your console.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to see who's going to win.
And then also going back to the TV thing, I feel like Xbox might be a little gun shy, because as part of when Xbox first launched, and you could probably still do it, they allow you to make your Xbox as your cable stream box. So you could plug your cable into the Xbox and then plug it into the TV and use that as your cable box. And that, to do picture-in-picture and all kinds of stuff.
And that's where I said that's where that's where these game consoles need to be. And that's what Xbox has always said. Microsoft said, we don't want to just make a game console. We want to make a home entertainment console. The problem with that is you are a little ahead of the game. Whereas Sony's like, we're making a game console. The other stuff is ancillary. So that's where Sony was ahead of them. And now it's like, then Microsoft backtracked and kind of came off of that. I was like, yo, we're going to make a game console too. And it's like, you should have stuck with, if you have a plan, stick with that plan, because it was a good plan. The problem is they didn't have the conviction of their own plan, and they let Sony just keep, and that's their problem. That they need a plan. They need leadership to say, what is the future of gaming?
Yeah.
And
we got to wrap up.
We do?
I got stuff I got to do. I don't know if you got stuff. Yeah, because we got other stuff to record.
All right,
we got stuff to record for y'all.
Yeah, guys. So that's it. It's going to be a short one. We talked a little bit about Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and the I don't want to say the great news that Sony had, but the interesting news that Sony had. They had great news about their PlayStation 4, but their View is being... And remember, if you have View, it's shutting down in January 2020. So I don't know if you're going to see any apps that's going to come on like Sling and YouTube TV before that, or they're going to wait till afterwards. Let's see. I want to say thank you to the guys in the chat. Dreadlock, D. Steezel, IMAX, Ray Sean, Brandon Gonzalez. Trying to Computer slow. We need a new computer.
We need a new everything.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just made the chat small, and I'm old, and this print is little. Rayshawn. Oh man, I didn't even notice that. Edward Sanchez. What's up, man? Like he said. Oh, guys, I forgot. Happy Halloween, man. Enjoy
Happy
yourself.
Halloween.
Also,
Werewolf Bar Mitzvah.
whatever he just said. If you guys got
Rock,
kids, take pictures, tweet it at us, Instagram, whatever. Like if your kids dressed up for Halloween, you guys went out for Halloween, let us know. We'll try to retweet and. But yeah, guys, thanks for doing this.
Sorry, Breck Warren. We got to shoot some stuff. That's why we're leaving early.
Yeah, we got to leave early because we got to shoot some stuff and we got to go track this tornado.
That's it.
We're out, guys. Peace. Happy Halloween.